Hello and welcome to Infinity the Campaign. Infinity the Campaign is an app that you can use to link together multiple Infinity games into a campaign. This includes rules for promotions, so units getting better and upgrading into stronger units. It handles casualties, replacing those casualties, using Silk to resurrect them, and fun, unique faction rules that alter how you play each faction. So when you open up the app, you're going to have these couple tools. One to start a new campaign, which we have three different types. You have the continue campaign button where you can click to open up a campaign that you're in the middle of or import one with the save code. The info screen has some basic information about the campaign app, definitions of all of these new words and abilities, right? So recruits, AVA, experience, you can learn about all of that on this page. And the DM tools is kind of a backend to create campaigns yourself. So let's start a new campaign. And we have three different kinds of campaigns here. So for me, the main feature here is a custom campaign. This is played with a player and a DM. And the DM runs them through a very unique series of missions that are very different from ITS. They are very asymmetric, but they're very cool and very specific, right? You can get crazy with this kind of stuff. Um, a custom campaign will have all of these assets built in, so you'll get a little mission briefing. It's going to tell you exactly what you're doing. It's going to tell you exactly who the enemy is. So if you're running it as a DM, these are kind of already set up and very specific about what they are. A generic campaign is still between a DM and a player, but it doesn't have any specific assets. It's very open-ended, and it lets you, for each mission, say how much points you want, how much points you get, what the victory points are, what the enemy is. So it's an open-ended generic campaign that will let you go mission by mission by mission and end it whenever you want. So this is kind of a very loose campaign structure. And then we have a versus campaign where two players can do a series of games versus each other, and they'll both be using the campaign app to track their victories, defeats, casualties, promotions against each other. Or you can use it in a tournament, right? And have an 3-round event where everybody is using the app and match up people based on that. So I will go into the custom campaign a little bit because this is the main mode. When you'll be able to import other campaigns here in the future, but I'm hoping to publish people's campaigns here as well so that they'll be available for everybody. But for right now, we just have the one that I created, the Xenotech Relic. So we can click on that, and now we're presented with a faction choice. So you can click any of these factions to then select a further sectoral. So each faction is going to have its own special rules, and you can preview those rules here. So for example, this Hack the Planet ability and Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. This is going to apply to vanilla nomads and all of her sectorals, whereas each sectoral is going to have an additional special rule that the vanilla won't have. So you see that Corregidor has the 2 from vanilla, but it has an additional rule as well. And it'll also list out any unit abilities that you might find and what units that they're on. So I can give my forces a name, like Demo Squad, and hit Start Campaign. So it's going to throw us right into our first mission briefing and tell us that there's an unknown group of mercenaries assaulting our forces. So we have to rescue a hostage. Here's how much money we get for it. And we see the hostages in the back and that there's a friendly combat zone. So what that means is at the end of the mission, we're in some friendly territory, so EMTs or emergency responders show up and they'll be able to stabilize anyone who's unconscious, so they don't die. So let's click return to comm log, And now we're on the main ComLog screen. So we have a lot of things going on here. We've got our squad name up here, our current squad, our current barracks, the army. We can view the briefing again at any time by clicking Return to Briefing, and our funding. So you'll see that we have 60 points, 1 SWIC, and 1 command token to go spend on troopers. So let's go buy some troops. We can click Army to open up a recreation of Infinity Army and view all of our units. So up top here, you can search by name. So if I want to find the Jaguar, I can just search Jag and that'll show up. I can filter by characteristic skills, equipment, and weapons to have those show up. And this little checkbox for only show units I can afford. At the top here, it shows you your wallet, so you see that we still have 60 points, 1 SWIC, and 5 trooper slots available, which can help you as you're list building so you don't have to go back to the other page and check where you're at. Now, on this page, you'll also see a couple things here. So, AVA is the same stat you're used to. You can never go over this number, but Recruits is a new one. Recruits represents the number of troopers of this regiment that you'll be able to hire through the entire campaign. So what that means is, for a bandit, for example, you can only hire 2 bandits throughout the entire campaign. So what that means is if they both die, you'll never be able to hire another bandit. But that doesn't mean you can never use a bandit again. We'll get to that later. So each time you hire a trooper, this is kind of like going to command and say, hey, I need a couple alguacils, and you'll see that all AVA total units just default to 255 recruits, which is essentially unlimited. There's also this purple experience value, and this is how much experience troopers generate at the end of a mission if they survive. And experience can be spent to promote troopers into better troopers, which we'll get into as well. There's also this ability called Ample Recruitment, or Intel, that you can see. We'll get into Intel later, but Ample Recruitment gives you 1 recruit for this regiment each mission. So that guarantees you'll always have alguacils available, and it's also commonly found on remotes because remotes are easy to manufacture. Remotes typically have 0 experience, but Nomad remotes, their special abilities, they generate a little bit of experience. But you'll see they all have ample recruitment. So I can build my army list. Let's just go really quick. I can click the Alguacil tab to open up all of the Alguacil profiles. And if I click on their name, you'll see that it opens up the stat viewer where I can see all of their stats. And if I go, let's go to a Jaguar. Let's preview a Jaguar. You'll see that any of these skills with the little ... under them, I can actually click to open up the Infinity Army page, making it really easy to view rules. So let's say I want to hire an Alguacil Lieutenant, 2 Alguacils, and 2 Jaguars. Right now I'm at 5 out of 5 slots. My army is built. Let's go back to the main page, and we'll see I'm ready to deploy. So all of my resources will carry over to the next mission. What else is on this main page? We have this little question mark. This brings up the campaign rule info screen where you can kind of remind yourself of any campaign-specific rules and language, right? Like Silk is a rare resource you can use to restore lost troopers. You can also click the faction icon, and it will give you an overview of any factional rule that might be applied, any unit rule and which troops they apply to, and the promotion chart. So this is where you can check what troopers promote into what. So if I click the Alguacil, I can see everything in green is something that an Alguacil can promote to. Or if, let's say, I click the Vostok, I can see that the Vostok actually promotes from a Cyclone or a Lunacod. Or I can see a Gecko promotes from a Mobile Brigada or the Tag Pilot. So this is a good way to view all of your promotions. And the summary page over here just gives you a little summary of your current snapshot. So we haven't played any missions, so there's nothing here, but we've got 50 points of survivors and our resources in the bank. This mission button can show you the missions you're currently on, but let's deploy. So this is going to start gameplay. This is kind of like hitting play mode in the Infinity Army app. We have all of our troops, which we can click to view their stat card. And again, you can click these links to open up the Infinity Army links. I can actually toggle their status here and it'll update the order count. And if I put my lieutenant into a null state, I'll enter loss of lieutenant, and I can use this dialog to assign a new lieutenant. You see he gets that little icon. We have all of our charts here, like hacking, booty, metachemistry, and our fire team chart here too. We can track our command token spend here, and this little question mark will show us an audit of how we got there. Points of interest you can interact with on the map to gain resources or victory points. And you can call reinforcements once a campaign at the cost of 5 victory points. You can record some notes here about some cool stuff that happened, and when you're all done with your mission, we click End Mission. So now we're done with the mission. We have to recap what happened during that mission. So each mission is going to have certain objectives. So for this mission, the primary objective was to rescue the hostage. If we did it, we bump it up, and we'll get a little bit of a lore blurb about what happened. Or if we bump it down to mark that we failed, we'll get a lore blurb about what happened there. And same thing for the secondary, tertiary, and bonus objectives. Now, we saw earlier that this was a friendly combat zone, so all of our troops are going to be extracted in the state that they're in. And you'll see that their states were inherited from before. So I could change them here if maybe I was wrong, right? And you'll see that each trooper who is successfully extracted generates experience equal to their experience stat. Now, experience is a new stat that every trooper in the campaign has, and this kind of represents how much they learn and how much they can grow. So a very basic alguacil has a lot of career ahead of him, right? He can become a mole regatta or an evader or a wildcat, right? So it has a high experience stat to reflect that. Whereas something like a jaguar, right? They're more specific. They've already been through a lot of training. Kind of a jaguar is going to be a jaguar, so their experience stats a lot lower. Things like tags don't generate much experience at all. Usually in the 1, 2, maybe 3 experience range, whereas like a mobile brigada might be closer to 5. I also have a little rules prompt for the Nomad rule, hack the planet. Gain 1 experience for each enemy that you targeted. So I can track that here. And now it'll show us how many victory points and how many experience we gained. So let's just bump my, let's say I won the first one. I get 1 victory point. So I'm gaining 1 victory point and 22 experience. We complete the mission. So now we're back on the comm log screen. You can see our squad is here. And now the infirmary appears because we have wounded troopers, right? We have 1 wounded alguacil in here. And if you click the KIA button, you can see we have a dead alguacil as well. So now that we've finished a mission, any trooper who finishes a mission alive has the option to promote. And you see this little golden star. So if I click this, this is how I can have an alguacil promote into something better. So I have 22 experience, as we showed before, and experience is not per unit. It's a global pool for your entire faction that you can spend to upgrade your troops into better troops. So again, you can find your promotion chart by clicking the icon up here and going to promotions. And we can click on this alguacil to see all of the things it can promote into. So wildcats, evaders, hellcats, blah, blah, blah. So let's click that. And here's the promotion dialog. We can see everything that a alguacil can promote into, like a tomcat, a lobo, a moran, a wildcat, whatever. cost to do so is the difference in points. So this Wildcat profile, for example, is 11 points more expensive than our Alguacil. So it costs 11 experience to promote into this profile. SWIC costs will be refunded or taken away, right? So you see that our base Alguacil has no SWIC cost. This one costs 0.5 SWIC, so you pay for the difference there. So I click this, it'll give us a confirmation. Would you like to promote your Alguacil to a Wildcat? Here's your experience cost, here's your SWIC change. Oh, we're getting a SWIC refund because this is our Lieutenant Alguacil. And confirm. So now that Alguacil is a Wildcat. One thing about promotions is this is a good way to regain troops that we might have lost. So say that we lost both of our bandits and we have 0 of them. The only way for us to get another bandit is either to resurrect it with Silk, which is a rare resource that will give you a recruit of any dead unit, or you can promote. So I'll come look at my promotions chart, click on my bandit, and see where it comes from. So bandits don't promote, nothing promotes into a bandit, but a bandit can promote into a Sombra. So really Silk's going to be your only way to get them back. So now we're on our next mission, and I can click read mission briefing, go through all of this again. I don't want to spend too much time on it because spoilers, but now we have something called the intelligence phase. So this is where we get to reveal more information about the upcoming mission. So someone who is like an intelligence agency like Assassins or Neo NCA is going to have a ton of intelligence, and they're going to generate that intelligence each round. And you can spend it to reveal information about the upcoming mission. So we learn a little basics about the enemy forces. There are more and more intel packs, as they're called, that you can spend intel on to reveal them. So if I buy unlocking the complex intel packs means I need to spend at least 2 intel from the simple category. Now these are revealed, I can spend these, and now I can purchase a top secret intel pack. But I don't want to show you guys that yet, so let's return to Comlog. But these are each going to give you more information about the mission you're playing and maybe help you choose your forces. So read these carefully and it'll inform your choices. You can read the map here, you can read any modifiers, and we can go back to Comlog to build our army and deploy.